All right, so today we're going to be talking about something that really just kind of. I think this is a perfect example of how the right functions and how the grift to follow the money to the right and right wing political demagoguery really works, and how this just probably my favorite, most blatant example of it. This segment's probably going to leave you very, very angry because it was so telegraphed. Like what happened here was so telegraphed, and yet there's nothing you can do to stop the inevitable and expectable result of it, right? So, hypers in chat if you're familiar with an individual by the name of Oli London. Many of you may recognize them from about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. They went viral because they basically were posting their like nonstop stalking of Jimin, this singer in a K-pop band called BTS. Luna, get down from there. Stop doing that. No, you can't explore. No, stay on camera so the chat can see you. Come on, baby. She was trying to tear through my sliding glass door screen again. You can't do that. You're gonna break it. Anyway, so basically, massive deranged K-pop stalker, right? With that said, says Jimin and then Luna. My cat's name is Luna, so regardless, this person then proceeded to upload a bunch of videos talking about how they are trans Korean and how they are transitioning into Jimin from BTS and so on and so forth. Now, this person was very clearly very mentally ill or trolling to the max, and everybody called them out. Like, the entire trans community on Twitter was dunking on this person for making a mockery or a joke out of being trans. It was like nobody on the left or in the trans community was like praising this person, accepting them, or anything, right? Like, this is not debatable. Nobody on the left was like defending this person, what they were doing. In fact, I think I distinctively said this person is trolling and will probably come out as like detransitioning somewhere down the road. And who'da fucking thunk it? Who'da fucking thunk it? Where is Oli London now? Is Oli London now, might you ask? You can't see over the stamp here, but that is detransitions after spending 6 months as Korean woman, is what that says. Oli London has now become a conservative figure. You look at their Twitter, it is all like right-wing political pundit stuff. They've come out as a detransitioner who has broken free of the left's delusion. They claim they were pushed into this by the left in the trans community, and they have finally broken free. So if this isn't already obvious, this person was a troll from the beginning. This is a psyop from the beginning, and possibly the most disingenuous and obviously telegraphed instances of grifting I've ever seen. Like it's like a Dark Souls enemy that like winds up its attack like, whoa! And then brings it down on you and gives you like all the time in the world to dodge out of the way. That is the level of telegraphed this grifting move was. Regardless, I actually didn't know about any of this. I learned about this literally yesterday when this new video by Inabber, who I think I'm pretty cool with. Inabber follows me on Twitter, and I think we're pretty chill. I like Inabber a lot. Inabber ended up dropping a video about this, about Oli London. It popped up in my recommended, and I was like, oh, let me take a look at this. Let me listen to this video while I play some Minecraft. And then very quickly, I found out what the deal was with Oli London, and I was like, nope, gotta stop this and watch this on stream. Gotta stop it. Gotta pause this. Gotta save myself for you guys to see it. See my genuine first reaction to it. And that's what I did. This Inabber video is about an hour long. It's pretty long, so we're probably going to be learning a lot in this video. I have not seen it yet, but it's a deep dive into Oli London, BTS Jimin's stalker. For those of you that don't know, Inabber is pretty fucking based, like just pretty definitively like left wing. Like you can tell just generally by like the jokes and the general humor and the vibe of the content and like what they say, that it pretty like Inabber is pretty clearly like progressive and based, so that's awesome. With that said, I didn't even know that this was going to be a political video going in. PewDiePie covered this guy. I remember that. That's actually how they went viral. Regardless, though, we're going to check this out. I want all of you guys to go drop a like and drop some support on Inabber's original video. I mean, I'm not just trying to steal content here. That would be pretty scummy. Matter of fact, maybe I should make a separate video talking about this, but Mr. Beast went on a podcast recently and talked about how right now the YouTube algorithm heavily boosts you if people react to your content and upload videos of them reacting to your content, and like people watch it. It's actually highly beneficial to you. And Mr. Beast is like a whole team that breaks down the algorithm and is the #1 most sub channel on YouTube. So I kind of believe him if he says something like that like the algorithm really likes when this happens. So yeah, if I like a creator and I want to support them, reacting to their content now instead of just being like a thieving, shameless way to pad out your stream also algorithmically helps their videos now. So that's pretty awesome. And that's how it should be. That's how it should be. YouTube pulled some levers and made it so now React content literally benefits the channel that you react to, and benefits you mutually. Mutual benefit from React content. That's how it should be. That is the ideal scenario. So I'm happy with that. With that said, let's play a little bit of modded Minecraft beta and learn about this absolute deranged motherfucker, Oli London, who I guess thinks they're pulling a fast one by doing this. That's really all I can assume, is they think they're pulling a fast one.
On the 4th of December 2018, something in this world changed, something so impactful that the state of humanity would never be the same again. And throughout time, we've had events like this, life-changing situations and scenarios where we as human beings have sat there and thought to ourselves, wow, this is going to change everything through tragedy.
I must say, by the way, Zan, it's too small. I'm working on it, chat, don't worry. One thing I must say, by the way, about Inabber's videos that I really like, that I think just, I don't think a lot of people think about it enough, like how much of a big like pull this is going to have. Inabber does a really good job of, like, it feels genuine, of like the Zoomer meme edit culture comedy, right? I'm not the only one who feels that, right? That like Inabber is pretty damn good at like appealing to the Zoomers with the memes and the edits without it seeming like hello fellow kids. Like these feel like like genuine. No, it's even worse. I'm trying, chat. I'm trying to find where. Well, that's the chat. Where's the background? All right, back to it.
Pain, love, happiness, all of these different types of feelings and thoughts. But this day in December 2018 was different. This was new. This, well, this is Oli London.
I want my entire look to look like Jimin is honestly my K-pop idol.
And you put the Korean injection in me, I feel Korean.
This is a dream come true to have a wedding.
I want to remind you all, before we get into this video, I want to remind all of you, I'm pretty certain I actually covered Jimin. Or not Jimin, fucking, man, Oli London from, 6 months ago would have loved that. No, I actually covered Oli London back when this was like a really big thing that was happening, like when Oli London was big news and everyone was talking about them. And I think I said, word for fucking word, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys can go back and watch my video, this person is trolling, and I guarantee they're going to come out as like a detransitioner or something down the road. Like I'm almost certain I went on as far as to say that. You guys can go look and check and see if I'm wrong, but I'm almost certain I remember saying that. And it sounds like the kind of thing that I would say, like this was pretty telegraphed. This is probably the most obvious, like, psyop troll campaign I've ever seen from like a random internet person trying to fuck over people on the left by pretending to be like some, oh, I left the left and rejoined, how I left the left and became a conservative. Oh god, I have no sound. That's why. Oh fuck. It's because I switched audio devices. I have no sound in the game now. Oh, and fucking hell. Okay. Let's resume the video and I restart my game so that I actually have audio because I switched audio devices.
Actually got Jimin engraved on my ring.
So I'm going to be personally fantastic, so I'm so happy, and I'm going to look exactly like Jimin, my idol. My pronouns are they, them,
We're gonna have to
Korean,
repair
Jimin,
that.
because I know a lot of people don't understand me, but I do identify as Korean.
Hello, my beautiful friends. Welcome back to
That was
another
a funny
video. Now, of
edit.
course, yes, we are speaking about this wonderful specimen known as Oli London again. Now, if you have known about my YouTube channel for longer than a year now, or if you've just in general been in the YouTube stratosphere where we like to speak about things, you probably know who this man is. And you probably have the opinion that this man,
Oli London goes by he, him pronouns now, by the way.
he's not really the most regular of human beings. But naturally, not everybody knows who everybody is, and not everybody knows who I am, and hello, my name is Fraser Inabber. I shall be your guide on the internet today, where we are going to go through yet more insanity. And that insanity is this man, Oli London, right here, who, yes, you probably or may not have heard of if you do not know who I am, or if you just in general do not engage in YouTube-related content. And my friend, do not worry, I'm not going to sit on here and blame you for not keeping on tabs with this internet star who is widespread known for spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on surgery to look like specific K-pop stars. I'm not going to blame you for not knowing this information, and honestly, I'm just here to praise you for not knowing this information. But sadly, not knowing this information is now causing a problem. A real problem.
You know what's kind of sad? The existence of Oli London does kind of throw a wrench in the argument that, like, a lot of pro-trans, like, activists will make. Like, nobody is going to no one's going to go through surgeries and take hormones and do this and that just to be able to hurt people, like, disingenuously. But believe it or not, like, that is exactly what Oli London did. Gangstar, what's up? Sign of head up. Hope all is well with everyone. Hey, how are you doing? We're playing beta Minecraft modded. It's really good. We're watching Inabber's new video on Oli London, the BTS Stalker, who is now a conservative demagogue, it turns out. So we're going to be getting into that.
And I'm not even exaggerating where I think people are now being put in actual danger. Because fast forward through absolutely everything that's happened in the last 4 years of Oli London, through the hundreds of thousands of dollars spent on surgery to look like a Korean person, through the going to Korea to pretty much stalk a K-pop star, through the marriage to a cardboard cutout of a K-pop star, through the claim that he's transracial, and through the stealing of another K-pop star's identity and using it as his own, through pretty much all of that, we need to move on to some more recent developments. I'm going to lose my mind! Now, these more recent developments are genuinely, to the average K-pop fan, quite devastating. They're devastating. They're sad because we've lost him. We finally lost Oli London. He's gone. He's gone.
When I watched this for the first time, I legitimately thought Oli London had died. Like, I was legitimately bracing for. So Oli London was recently found dead in their apartment. With a suicide note blaming the internet and everyone who ever made fun of them for their death. And honestly, I think we all ought to feel really. Like, I was legit preparing for to come out of this feeling really bad for Oli London and being like, oh my god, maybe we should have maybe not dunked on them so hard. But then we got very different news, and now honestly, that hypothetical doesn't sound so bad.
And he's left us. I don't know if I can do this. Alright, I'm going to compose myself. Basically, Oli London, he's quit music. He's pretty much quit K-pop. And I just don't know how we can go on in this world without the musical vision of this man.
I love Korea, oh yes I do. You know it's true, you know I'm such a fan.
I don't know, that fucking banged.
No, but seriously, he's gone. There's no more of this, and if that's us, I mean, to be fair, a lot of you may be thinking, well, this year was going absolutely horrifically, and now it's truly gotten better. And my friends, you're probably also thinking, why? Because it's not like this whole thing didn't pay off for Oli London. Him doing this whole K-pop facade was something which really did pay off. He was getting the numbers, the views, the attention. So why? Why has he quit the K-pop genre? Basically, in the last few months, Oli London has become a new board-again Christian that has recently dived into the political stratosphere by joining the right wing and recently going on political shows such as Carlson, Piers Morgan, and just in general speaking about his new process of detransitioning away from being transgender. And just in general, recently the right wing have embraced Oli London as a way to use him as a martyr, just in general, demonize trans people in order by saying, hey, this is Oli London, he's an absolutely ridiculous man, and we are now using him as a representation of the entire trans community because we know that will make trans people look ridiculous, and we can demonize them by using Oli London to our advantage because Oli London is now realizing that, embracing that, and going on lots of political talk shows where he is speaking about his detransitioning process, and that is now being used as a way to demonize trans people. There's a lot going on here, people! Now,
spam the Xander gods. Absolutely spam the Xander gods after that absolute legendary rant. That was possibly the best summarization of what Oli London is doing, why it's bad, why it's disingenuous, like all of the important details of like, it's not genuine, it's harmful, here's how, everything. All in what, like in 30 seconds. In like 30 seconds. That was like 2 paragraphs in 30 seconds. Very good. Literal Xander God moment. Yeah, Xander God Inabber.
I understand. To regular folk, even to the regular right-wing person, you'd probably hear this and think, wow, this is absolutely ridiculous and surely in no way, shape or form people can actually take Oli London seriously. No, that's not the case. People are very much now eating that up. People are very much now taking Oli London as I said, some form of weird martyr and representation of the trans community. And this, in my opinion, is now getting to a very, very dangerous point of people either being stupid or playing blissful ignorance because they know that they can use somebody as a way to demonize a group of people that they personally do not like. And if you didn't realize, the context here is Oli London for the last year has been going through a story of where he came out as a transgender woman and has recently detransitioned and is then using he, him pronouns again, provoking him to go onto this new strange character arc. This very, very weird character arc, which we will go further into later in this video. Because before we go into any of that, we need to take...
I like how, because like Oli London did all the like the plastic surgery to look like literally like a different race. Like legit, like levels of plastic surgery that are just completely like absurd amounts of plastic surgery. Now that they've gone full conservative and are like doing the detransition thing, they now literally look like Voldemort. Like Oli London literally looks like Voldemort now. So not only do you have like the blatant evil of this scheme they're pulling, but also like visually, it looks as though becoming conservative has like visually corrupted them, you know? Because like, I'm not gonna lie, Oli London looked fine, like pre coming out as a conservative, but like in the photos that we saw on like their Twitter and stuff, they literally look like, like a wax person. Like a person literally made of wax. Way more so than ever before. It's actually wild. Happens to all conservatives. That is true. You do actually have a certain part of you that one could call the soul removed from you the second you start to ascribe to more conservative beliefs. Are you playing modded, Zan? Yes, this is modded modded Minecraft Beta 1.7.3.
Into the realization and context that this is becoming a very, very successful venture for Oli London. This is pretty much something that's only really been happening since, say, the ending of September this year, but if you went onto Oli London's Twitter account now, you could pretty much see that every single tweet is now political. Now, some of them I don't have a problem with, you know, he's criticized Balenciaga, and I completely agree with that. I think everyone, it's not even a political take, it's just some of the things to do with what they were doing with...
Wait, here's your old video on it, you added a timestamp? Wait, does this have my... I want to make more content debunking shit like this, or making fun of shit like this, to make it very clear to your average person, this is not what the LGBT community is about. This is not what the left is in favor of. The left thinks this is weird, cringy, racist, and just overall fucking ridiculous. So yeah, But of course, you're about to hear clips of Oli London saying that the left pushed them into this, and the left in the trans community influenced them in this direction. So, yeah, prepare for that.
Was obviously disgusting and horrific, but yeah, there are also a lot of other things mainly to do with the trans community, and it's obviously a little bit strange to me because Oli London only recently was claiming that you are transphobic if you disagree with him on absolutely anything, which in my opinion is actually a ridiculous opinion to have, because your identity doesn't mean that every, opinion you have is absolutely right, and obviously I know that Oli London...
Well, Candace Owens did the same thing. You guys know that, right? Candace Owens has gone on record saying there is no discrimination in schools. There's no, there is no basis on which somebody should be able to, sue on the grounds of, hate or discrimination based on race on, schools or any big, institution. That's ridiculous and absurd. When it was dug up that it turns out when she was in college, she sued her college for racial discrimination. Back when she was progressive, because she was progressive once, like an avowed progressive who would get dunked on by the right all the time. She made a doxing website to dox conservative figures. She did this whole left-wing political figure thing where she was non-stop mercilessly dunked on, and then just out of the blue came out as a conservative and suddenly started making a whole lot of money. It's sad too, I was watching my favorite podcast, PKA, recently, and FPS Russia is a member of the PK podcast, one of my favorite members, and he said something along the lines of this: You know, I've been seeing a lot of clips of Candace Owens, and I know for a fact I haven't seen the bad stuff. I've got to see the bad stuff. But, like, everything I've seen of her, I mean, she seems like this smart, very capable woman who defends everything she stands for really well. I've seen a lot of clips of her, like, dunking on people, calling her racist or bigoted. Like, she'll be like, oh, you think this? Well, then that. Like, listening to some normie who does a podcast, who I do enjoy and think is funny, who clearly doesn't know a lot about politics, completely fall for the grift, really does help put into perspective for me how effective conservative propaganda is to your average griller. Your average griller sees that all they're seeing is like the clips of Candace Owens absolutely demolishing anyone who tries to accuse her of any wrongdoing. You know, people think of Candace Owens as a smart, intelligent, like, debate lord. That's how the average normie thinks of Candace Owens. Clips of Candace Owens, like, or any evidence of Candace Owens' wrongdoing and all the bad shit she's done is buried as fuck. Left-wing figures do not have enough of a platform, or I guess enough motivation, to spread around dirt on figures like this, enough to, like, ruin or harm their reputation in any way. Like, imagine if it was as easy to find dirt on Candace Owens as it was on Trump, right? Like, it's kind of hard. Like, there's not a lot of that out there because it's just not spread around, even though there is a lot to use to try to harm her reputation, because she is, in fact, a grifter.
Doesn't believe that, because I know that Oli London is a troll. Trolling is a big word that we are going to be using throughout this video, because I think it's a very necessary thing that we need to look at, because Oli London once again is in another position of where he is trolling an entire community, but rather than that community being outraged at him, he is now actually getting fans. If you went to this guy's replies on Twitter right now, you would see that a lot of people do actually support him and agree with him, and are actually buying that this is some new weird thing of where Oli London has realized every single thing that he has done in the past was wrong.
Who would have thought? The right jumped right on board to consider this person a political ally? Who could have predicted this? Who could have predicted that this would be a massively financially beneficial move on the part of Oli London? Who could have possibly seen something like this coming? Who could have known? Literally anybody.
Despite Oli London still has Korean pronouns. This is basically everything these conservatives hate. But my friends, I'm honestly not really that shocked.
Wait, really? They're still going by Korean pronouns while doing this whole grift. That is actually kind of funny. That's actually a little bit funny, because that's like lying to a conservative's face about the mess behind you, while like actively presenting the mess behind you and saying, no, there's no mess behind me, while pointing to it instead of trying to cover it with your body like a kid would something that they're trying to hide from their parents, you know? Like, it's actually, like, by the way, I'm detransitioning away from the wild leftist trans agenda. Also, I still go by Korean pronouns. Okay.
So many people are now weirdly flocking to Oli London to support him, because there's this thing I've noticed with the right wing. Now, not every single right wing person does this, or every conservative does this. This is like the people that are.
It's so sad. Listen, Inabber's is based and a real one, and is only saying this because, you know, they have to. Like, let me be honest with you guys. If you're a goo goat. If you are like a normie content creator, and I'm not calling Inabber a normie, I'm calling Inabber's fans normies. Inabber makes very, what's the word for it? Very accessible content. This isn't not a conservative. This isn't a political channel, or like a political, like, video essayist channel. This is a commentary channel. Most of the topics discussed in this channel are like drama and like social issue stuff, like stuff that ties into politics in some way, but isn't overtly political. And because of that, naturally, Inabber actually has a fair amount of like of conservative fans, or like conservative leaning fans. And so just saying the right likes to do blank, like what may come off as a generalization, will massively offend a lot of the conservative viewers that Inabber has. So I'm sure that Inabber knows this is a way bigger issue than like, oh, just a few conservatives do this. But like they have to word it this way, or their fans will lose their shit.
Obsessed and mind warped to the point of the only thing that they can speak about is politics, of where they are just obsessed with certain political commentators, like Tucker Carlson, for example. They are so in love with these people. They would do anything for somebody like Tucker Carlson. He could do the most insane shit.
Wait, you predicted this being conservative W in your old video? Here's the timestamp. Well, I predicted it being a conservative W, not them going out. Hold on, let's see. God, this is such a just a W for the right. This right here, whether you like it or not, is a W for the right. This right here is a W for the alt-right and transphobes everywhere. This person is... I repeated myself way too much back then. For the record, if those of you guys who don't know, I would repeat myself when I was working on trying to figure out what next to say and how to say it. It's literally just a matter of getting better at public speaking, and you just start to get faster at figuring out what to say next, and that's why I repeat myself less and pause less, because I've just gotten, better at public speaking. It's really that simple. Practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect.
Awful things, and they will just abide by him, stick to him, and it's terrifying. And it's now happening with Oli London because their god Tucker Carlson came out and I guess put him on this pedestal of, hey, I guess look at this guy's story. Doesn't this represent that entire community in a bad light? And I understand a few people may say, well, where does he ever directly say that he's doing that? Well, I pretty much feel like he says that in the interview with Oli, and I'm going to allow you to listen to this interview to get the full context and then get on to when I think he pretty much says that.
Let me ask you a question, and I'm not mocking you at all. It's a sincere question. Did it make you happier? Did you feel when you, quote, transitioned and started living as something that you weren't, did you feel like you were that thing, and were you at peace inside?
So, this is a pretty normal question. It's an interview. He was asking if he was happy. And yeah, I think that's perfectly valid. But then it starts to get a bit strange when you hear the answer from Oli London, because I think, well, I don't know if it's porky pies, but it's a little bit at least contradictory.
I've never really found happiness until recently.
Now, I'm a little bit confused here because I went and looked at a few old tweets. I did a little bit of research and I found a lot of tweets of Oli claiming that he was happy during this period of time of where, he was trying to look Korean or trying, just in general transitioning. I found a lot of tweets of where Oli was seemingly very happy. Now, maybe those tweets weren't true, but obviously it's a little bit contradictory. And with that contradiction, I think it's a little bit difficult to kind of take that and use that as a way to generalize it as everybody, because naturally not everybody has the experience of Oli London paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to look like an actual other human being.
So I was always struggling with my looks, as most kids do, especially as a teenager. Between, the age of 11 to 13, kids change, and kids start to question themselves. They start to question their looks, their identity. They have self-esteem issues. This is normal. I used to really hate the way I looked, so I thought having all this surgery, trying to become a girl, dressing as a girl, trying to be more feminine, I thought that would make me happy. I've realized that was a big mistake, and I feel like, if I was born 40 years ago, I wouldn't have done this. It's what the woke culture is pushing these days, what we see on
If I had been born 40 years earlier, I feel like I wouldn't have done this. It's what the woke culture has pushed on me. There you have it. The woke left pushed this onto them. So not only is that just objectively not true, like it's just not true on several levels, right? Like, for one, this isn't what the left stands by or believes in. Like, obviously, that goes without saying. The left isn't in favor of people racing and getting plastic surgery to become a new race. Like, that's generally the kind of thing that people on the left, at best, like at the most friendly, will make fun of, right? Like in sort of like a meme way. But sort of like with Rachel Dolezal. But to then say the left was encouraging this when the left was actively, like, not just making fun of Oli London, but if you look at the clips that I just showed from when this originally happened, shit-talking Oli London, discussing how what Oli London doing is harmful and disingenuous. And now they're coming out to say, yeah, the left pushed me into this. The left totally, wouldn't have done this if it weren't for the left. It really is just possibly the best example of conservative dishonesty. To literally try to gaslight an entire political movement to their face about how they felt about you at a certain point. Oh yeah, you guys loved me when I was doing this. No, we didn't. Yeah, you did. Shut up. I'm a conservative now. Basically that.
TikTok, it's the new normal, and this is so wrong. It's really affecting our kids, and the school boards have a lot to answer for with this.
I agree with that. A lot of people are unhappy inside. That's normal. But pharmaceuticals and plastic surgery aren't going to fix it, of course, as you know.
I just feel very uncomfortable hearing this. It's like, yeah, obviously everybody gets sad, but then they add that little bit on the ending. It's like, no, you don't have a familiar...
For the record, by the way, conservatives time and time again will conflate any form of, like, mental... Like, if you have, like, mental issues that are causing you to experience like depression or something, they will call that getting sad or being sad. I think the best example of this has to be when Keemstar was on Twitter arguing that depression isn't real and that everybody gets sad, just sit down and drink a beer. If you take medicine or like get therapy about it, then you're a pussy. Like, do you guys remember that? That was like a drama a while back that everyone forgot about. A lot of conservatives think this way. They genuinely just think depression is getting sad, and that if you get therapy or take meds for it, then you're weak, or that's an admission of weakness of some kind. And that the real, like manly way, I guess, to handle something like that is just cheer up, wait it out. You'll feel better eventually. They don't make they don't distinguish between feeling sad and like clinical depression,
Your experience with other trans people. You have a very unique experience, and
yeah.
everyone's.
They'll acknowledge that men's mental health is a serious issue, though. If they can use it as an opportunity to dunk on feminism, they'll say, "Oh, but men's suicide rates, men's depression." But like any other time, it's like, "Oh yeah, you're a real pussy if you kill yourself because of suicide, or you take meds, or you get therapy. It's not real. You just drink a beer and you'll feel better." Like that kind of thing is what they'll talk about when the issue switches. The right is inherently inconsistent. Fascism, which is what the right believes in at this point, is inherently inconsistent. There's no through line of like, oh, so they believe this and that. Like with the left, it's like, okay, the left believes in racial justice. What would the left feel about like gay people having rights then? Oh, they think gay people should have rights? That makes sense. Okay, how does the right say they feel about taxes? Oh, they're against taxes. That's interesting. All right. Well, they don't want poor people or like the working class to get taxed. Okay, that seems like a reasonable, like, I guess, explanation for why they may not like taxes. But why are they cutting taxes on? Why are they cutting taxes on big corporations and allowing taxes to remain high, or even raising taxes for small businesses, like actual small businesses? Why are the middle class and lower class people paying so much when rich people are paying so none of it makes sense unless you realize, wait, the right lies about everything they believe and want to do. They want to do bad things, but recognize that if they admit they want to do bad things, they'll never actually gain power, so they lie. That once that realization sets in, what the right says and does, and the inconsistencies really start to make a lot more sense when, oh, they're lying, becomes a valid explanation.
Experiences in life are unique, and I think it's insane that these people are generalizing it like this, but obviously there is a reason to what I was saying previously, that they want people to think that everybody is like Oli London, and obviously, as I was saying, these Tucker Carlson fans will just eat this up. They will accept everything and not even question anything. Like, you can say to me that K-pop stans or Minecraft stans are like the worst people on planet Earth, but my friends, I have never met a more dedicated stan account who is in a parasocial relationship than far-right political fans. It sounds weird to say, but there is literally a fandom of people that are just obsessed with these popular political figures that just fester on outrage. And I think the best part about these people is, look, I'm not grouping them all into one thing, but there is definitely like a vocal amount of people in the group that love these sort of political figures that they just don't really like gay people. And I've always find that quite, strange, because a lot of these dudes are dudes, and they really like these dudes that say a lot of things, and they get very defensive over them, to the point of where I'm thinking, are you wanting like a little relationship with these people? That's perfectly fine if you want to have your parasocial relationships, but I think it's going a bit further than parasocial. I think that these people may actually like pop. Not all of them, but some of them, and I think that they're getting a little bit upset by that,
chicken noise.
terms of it. And my friends, you're welcome over. Well, I wouldn't say you're welcome. You can come over here. It's perfectly fine. We will accept you more than you accept yourselves. But as I said, my friends, naturally there is a problem we have in this situation, because a lot of the people that are now being pointed towards Oli, who were fans of Tucker Carlson, they do not know about Oli London's history, You could just get the regular person that just slaps on Tucker Carlson's show. I mean, I don't like Tucker Carlson, but maybe there are some people out there that...
There's a lot of truth to this, but to be fair, a lot of them know and just don't care. The right cares about winning way more than they care about ideological purity, which is the biggest difference between the left and the right, and why the right tends to do so well in internet, like, populist spaces like this, as opposed to the left.
that do just put it on because they want something on, and they see somebody like Oli London and they're like, wow, look at this, isn't this crazy? But they don't know the context, the history of trolling of Oli London, and I think that's a problem here, because with this guy clearly being made out to be a representative of the trans community, it's going to demonize an entire group of people, which I think is horrific, but I have reason for believing this, and we will get into that in the future. But the thing is, with these people, when they speak against the LGBTQ plus community, they never say anything positive. They never speak about just regular good trans people. They just take up things which have nothing to do with the identity of being trans, but then mix it in with that and say, oh, this is definitely all to do with their identity.
If I was born 40 years ago, I wouldn't have done this. It's what the woke culture is pushing these days, what we see on TikTok. It's the new normal, and this is so wrong. It's really affecting our kids, and the school boards have a lot to answer for with this.
And I just think it's kind of insane that he even said this in the first place, because, I mean, this is Oli.
My new name is Rose London. Rose is now my bias. Lisa was my bias before. Now Rose is my bias. So I want to look like her. So I've just had all my surgery to look like Rose. I still love Jimin, but I want to look like a girl, a Korean girl, just like Rose. And I want to be the 5th member of Blackpink.
This is not a regular person. This is somebody stealing someone's identity, and we will go further into it. But the fact that he generalizes people under the same scope of...
Oli London is a skinwalker. There's no other explanation. There is no other explanation. Oli London is simply a skinwalker. Like, I don't know what else to say. All of the evidence points to, we have a skinwalker on our hands.
Of what he's gone through in his life. I don't doubt that this man's had identity issues, but the fact that he tries to do this generalization is just pathetic. But at this point, I think we all know what's going on here. So I want to do this video in a bit of a different way to usual, rather than going through and dismantling all of his tweets and all of his opinions and things that he's been saying recently. And we will still do that. I promise you now, my friends, we definitely will still do that. But I want to instead go through the history of this man, show you everything that a lot of people may not know, where this guy started, why he's doing the things that he's doing, and just in general show you the timeline.
Guys, there is a non-0% chance, all right, that Oli London may be a relevant political figure on the right in the coming, sometime in the coming years. I want you guys to think about that for a minute. Is there any reason, really, to think that they won't? Seriously. I'm pretty certain that Oli London might have what it takes to really climb the ranks of the conservative, echo chamber, Already on Tucker Carlson? That's a damn good start. Matt Walsh wants to have somebody like this on, right? Matt Walsh, this person is going to be making the fucking rounds, just believe me. An ex-trans person who is, as crazy as, the way that Oli London behaved, that's literally a golden W for the right. They want that. As I said back then, there is absolutely no reason for the right to not take the W being handed to them here. And that's what's really unfortunate at the end of the day. The right can literally just have some random dude do some trolling, and it can actually have severe political consequences like this. That's really all it takes. Just some dumbass on the internet doing a little bit of trolling, and it can literally, dictate political discourse for, weeks after. That's the age of the internet that we're in.
Of this man realizing that he can not only profit off outrage, but actually make a career off this. And now it's only showing again. He has moved away from a specific community and moved on to another one, but the difference is he is now being worshipped and adored in this community, which in my opinion is only going to make him spur out more horrible pieces of rhetoric, horrible stereotypes, and just in general, by doing that, put people in danger. And I truly believe that this guy does not care about 95% of the things he says, and that isn't just to do with politics, that's to do with K-pop as well. I think he likes K-pop. I think he probably holds fairly conservative right-wing opinions, but I don't believe that it goes to the areas of where he puts it on his social media page. But unlike with K-pop, I think this is different. I don't think this is the same as putting out, crazy K-pop music videos of where he's blatantly doing things for outrage. I think that this is different for a very specific reason. Because in the last few months, yes, Oli London has weirdly become this sort of martyr, this sort of representation of trans people to right-wing people. And that might sound absolutely insane to you, because it is fucking mental. It's insane! It's insane! Not one person can represent an entire group of people in any context, even if they're wonderful. I don't think it's usually something that can happen, because, everybody...
You guys may think these are very simple, arguments, but I think it's important for the perspective of like a random normie who may watch this video to be like, oh, like Inabber's not some crazy SJW type. This is, you know, maybe I ought to take this seriously, right? Have you noticed that like very few buzzwords have been said here that might set off a conservative's immediate like, oh, I can't listen to this, like avoiding the buzzwords and stuff? Like Inabber's good at making content that won't alienate the right. And believe it or not, that is like what it is. Like the right is very, very sensitive. Any hint of left-wing sentiment or progressive sentiment in the content they watch will set them off and make them mad and even make them unsubscribe. So you have to be very careful as like a non-political content creator. If you have progressive beliefs, if you're going to express those beliefs, expect a lot, and I mean a lot, of fucking hate. Expect a lot of hate. Expect to lose subscribers, and frankly, expect a lot of people to say that you fell off and you're not funny anymore, and to try to basically use this as an opportunity to cause your career to crumble, right? I mean, you saw it happen with Ethan Klein, right? As soon as, like, Ethan Klein started expressing more, like, politically progressive ideas, immediately it went from being like, yeah, people have a problem with Ethan, he can be pretty cringe or whatever, to, like, now, like, everybody is just totally cool with, like, shitting on the appearance of his wife, shitting on his appearance, just like attacking him over anything that he does, regardless of whether or not it's good or bad. He went from being one of the most loved content creators on the internet to being one of the most hated within a fairly small time span, and a large part of that just had to do with him expressing left-wing ideas. Same happened to iDubbbz. iDubbbz literally used to be one of the most respected, considered unstoppable titans of YouTube, and now the norm opinion on iDubbbz is that he's a cuck simp. All because his wife does OnlyFans, and I don't even think posts nudes or anything. Just like, I think it's just like cosplay or something, isn't it? So like, you can see how fast these people will turn on you if you don't perfectly represent their values. It's because conservatives are fucking snowflakes.
Everybody's different, and everybody's got different opinions, and every single human being is different. And Oli London is definitely a very different person, and I don't think he's a good representative of these people, as in trans people. But seemingly, according to his comments, people are now taking this guy as the gospel of this man is a representative of all of these people, and we can use him to demonize trans people. That is what I think is going on here with the smart ones. Now, there are people in this community who are also being played like a fiddle by Oli London, and I saw people pretty much pointing this out in a comment section of Oli, pretty much saying that, wow, I can't believe people are falling for this, and this is absolutely the case I'm going to make in this video. Because I can definitely not convince these people that don't like trans people that they are wrong for having these beliefs. I can't do that. But the one thing I can do is convince the stupid people.
Well, what you can't convince them outright that they're wrong about their beliefs, but what you can do is prove that they're the people where they get their opinions from are lying to them. We live in this world, and the world that we live in today does not reward going out of your way to do your own research and like come to logical, well thought out personal conclusions that are your own, right? That is not a world that we live in. We don't live in a world that right now, especially with the internet, that rewards that. Right now, most people go online and find like a YouTuber or a political commentator, even on the internet or the radio, and find somebody they think is smarter than them to tell them what to believe so they don't have to do the hard part themselves. That is how a lot of these people watch content like this. To be fair, some amount of you watching the stream right now watch my videos for that exact same reason, for some reason. Yeah, like a lot of people do that. And it's those people who need to be proven. If you can prove that the people those people go to get their opinions from are liars, you can't necessarily get them to change their mind right off the bat, but you can shake their resolve in believing that who they've gone to get their opinion from is definitely like trustworthy. And once you've shaken that resolve, that's really just the first step. A lot of the getting out of the alt-right pipeline stuff, whatever you want to call it, doesn't happen like publicly or in the like public eye or like online or in like it happens privately with introspection and like late nights sitting on the computer like just thinking or listening to YouTube videos or whatever. It's just not the kind of thing that happens overnight in one moment, like in the public eye, you know, with the scrutiny of millions of people watching. You know, it's a quiet, slow change.
That they are stupid. And it might sound insane to you, but this is something which I really think needs to be done here. And I think my objective of today is to show these people that this man is not like what they think he is. I'm sure he holds a lot of the beliefs that he's been spewing in the last few months, but ultimately, he is a troll. Oli London is probably the best troll I have ever witnessed on this YouTube channel. I don't have a problem with him detransitioning or something like that. I don't care about that. If he wants to be a man and he's happy being a man and identifying as a man, he can do that. That's not what this video is about. This video is going to be us going on a deep dive through this man's history to truly show that this man will do anything to get attention, to be in the public eye, and to be viewed. As I said earlier, K-pop has worked very, very well for this man, but the one thing he has never really gotten from the K-pop audience is love and support. But now Oli has clearly realized he can get love and support from this group of people in this specific political ideology, and that is worrying because I think he's going to not only put people in danger by doing that, but also it's insane that an entire group of people are being played like this. Oli is not only manipulating these people, but it almost feels like he's doing...
I know why Inabber uses this wording, but like, Oli London's not playing them. Oli London isn't trolling the right. Oli London's trolling the left and trans people, and they know it. Oli London knows what they're doing. They look in the camera as they say, I wouldn't have done this if it weren't for the crazy trans woke agenda. And they say it looking at the camera, knowing it's a lie, and knowing what outcome will occur. It's hard to even say it's trolling. Is it really trolling at this point if you're like going on Tucker Carlson, like one of the most viewed, the most viewed political pundit in the world, or in America, who also happens to be a fascist, and give him like more ammo to convince his, at this point, murderous fan base that they should kill anybody who supports trans people? Like, is that trolling, or is that just doing bad shit and using the excuse of trolling as a way of escaping consequence, you know? Like, I feel like the term trolling is bandied about a little too readily these days, when it's not really trolling so much as just doing bad shit and trying to escape trying to escape the perception that you did it in a sincere manner, right?
Doing a deal with the more smarter people here. Like, whether you want to say it or not, Tucker Carlson knows what he's doing by having Oli London on his show. By having Oli and using him as like this representative of trans people, he can then take that and be like, oh, well, they're all like this. They're all really mental. That's what he's doing here. When the reality is, I have a lot of trans friends. Well, not a lot, but I have trans friends. My editor, Jacket, hello, say hi right now.
Hi there.
Trans person, trans woman, you know? And I think that's amazing because they are happy and comfortable with who they want to be. But sadly, because of people like Oli London, who have done not insane things by coming out, but just insane things away from the trans sort of, you know, topic, they are now being used as this representation that all trans people are like this. When the reality is, not all trans people are stealing the identity of K-pop stars whilst going to Korea and stalking these stars and also marrying cardboard cutouts. But sadly, the viewers of Tucker Carlson will not understand that because they either don't know the history, or they love to be silly, or they are just stupid, or they want to play blissful ignorance. So today, rather than dismantling all these...
So here's the problem. When you make a video like this, you are essentially arguing to a conservative that something they believe is true, assuming they're honest, of which there are very few of them that are honest with what they believe, but some of them are genuine, honest fools, but still fools nonetheless. Those people, you have to convince them that something they believe is true, that's very convenient for it to be true for them, is not true. That this person is not, in fact, like an trans, like, detransitioner who realized that, like, that was being pushed into this by the left, and now they've realized it's wrong, and now they're coming... Like, the right wants Oli London to be telling the truth. And if they're willing to just lie enough, then they'll just deny the truth and just say, nope, this is genuine. No, what do you mean? No. Like, they'll just say whatever. Like, the right, at the end of the day, if you actually manage to pin them down and, like, get them on a lie, they'll just say whatever and move on. They don't actually care about the truth or being correct. It's like when some college student who actually knows what they're talking about will, like, confront Ben Shapiro at one of his events, and, like, they'll have, like, a pre-typed thing on their phone so that there's no, like, mistakes or mess ups or anything, or, like, they can't forget anything, and just they'll just type out the list of reputable medical organizations that support the validity of trans people, read it off to Ben, and ask him why he believes that there is no medical validity to transitioning, and then he'll just respond with, all of these medical institutions that make up the academic consensus are infiltrated and corrupted by the left. And then have the mic taken away from the person. That's how it'll go. Synth, that happened to Synth and multiple other people. Like 4 other people have gone and done that as well since Synth did it, and he has the same response every time. Just, the left has infiltrated any institution that says I'm wrong. Which just so happens to be every medical institution that makes up the consensus on these issues. You see, they don't actually care about the truth. They're like, you can't actually, like, get them. You know, you're never going to get them on anything, because there's no way to actually get them, because there's nothing to get.
Opinions and horrible things, we are going to go through the history. We will also go into the things right now, but I think it's time to go on a trip down memory lane. I can't wait.
Flashback.
And my friends, welcome to the pinboard, where we will pretty much just, note literally every important chapter in this. There's really no reason other than I thought, it might look a little bit cool. So, starting off with early beginnings. That was more difficult than it actually looked. The mega fan told Barcroft TV, basically BTS debuted in 2013 and I was living in Korea at the time, and I was watching some TV and BTS performed and I was amazed by all of them. He said that he wants his entire lifestyle to revolve around K-pop and to resemble the lead singer. Now this was the very beginning era of Oli London. As I said earlier, he created his YouTube channel on this specific date, but obviously it goes back a bit before then. As I said earlier, I do not doubt that this man truly did enjoy K-pop and had a liking to the culture and a liking towards the music and people involved in it, and I also think
lived in
definitely
Korea.
thought people in K-pop are beautiful. Now naturally we could have a conversation about how the beauty standards in the K-pop industry are horrific, and there are very, very bad methods to how these K-pop stars are forced into looking a specific way.
Guys, I know that like boy bands, like some like pop boy bands back in the day, like the during like the era of when that was really big here in America was the thing. They do this too, but I think it's a little more extreme with some of the K-pop bands. But like, apparently the dudes in the K-pop bands are not allowed to date. Or they're like studio, or like whoever it is that basically like publish it, like gives them their career more or less, gives them the ability to have a career, will just drop them. Because being in a relationship isn't marketable, and if they do get into a relationship, they could either get fired or be forced to hide it. Because they actively want to market to these parasocial weirdos who believe they have a chance. I mean, like, it is a smart business decision, but at the same time, it's abusive towards, the people that are working for you. So, yeah, it's just, there seems to be a very, very toxic culture in K-pop. But that's, like, the most that I really know. I've never really listened to much K-pop. I had a friend who was really into K-pop and tried to get me to listen to some, and I just wasn't for me. Just wasn't for me. To be fair, I don't even like A-pop, which is like American pop. Like, I'm not even... It's just not my type of music. I like dad rock.
Way, but we're not going to do that today. What I want to focus on is Oli clearly realized that K-pop was growing. He realized that the fandom was very much known for being a little bit volatile, a little bit reactive, and he realized that he could clearly profiteer off that. I think what started off as, yes, somewhat possibly as a level of identity issue of wanting to be like these K-pop stars, it became to a point of where Oli realized he could profit off that. And I'll describe this as the more normal era of Oli London, but normal is something that we really need to take and add a whole plate of salt onto, because normal for Oli at this point was Oli is known in Korea for spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to look like K-pop stars he described as looking like dolls. I mean, it's a little bit weird.
Is Oli London like a lolcow in Korea? I'm genuinely curious. Like, do they bring like Oli London onto Korean Dr. Phil just to like marvel at how deranged he is? Like, is that like a thing that happens? I feel like it is. There's no way it's not. Korean Dr. Phil. And now you're just imagining Dr. Phil, but he's Korean. No, I mean like the Korean equivalent of like the Dr. Phil show, right? Like whatever's the biggest, like, bring people on and make fun of somebody who's just fucking weird type media. There's no way they don't have that in Korea. Ooh, uranium. Dr. Phil anime. Anime is from Japan, not Korea, you fucking racists.
It definitely is, but at this point you're probably just thinking back in 2018, oh, he's a bit of an oddball. He definitely is a bit of a fucking oddball. Maybe keep him away from gymming. But naturally, it was just considered a bit odd. He wasn't really doing anything too harmful here.
Definitely
other than,
keep him away from
promoting
gymming.
going to get surgery to look like another. But, you know, it wasn't that bad. But then we continue. Because this created a lot of headlines, a lot of documentaries, a lot of videos out there about Oli London. And looking at this, you do just think, back then specifically, is this legit? Is he serious in what he says? Because back then, not many people were too sure about this. And it led to
you gotta
things
start
like
somewhere,
this.
right?
Hello, everyone.
Well, here's the thing, though. If you're gonna start doing a massive troll like this, you have to start somewhere, right? Like, you don't just start doing that and then overnight you blow the fuck up, right? Like, you have to start somewhere. If you're gonna try to pull some, like, scheme like this to try to, like, get attention and money. It's not like it just happens overnight. You blow up and everyone's talking about you, making fun of you, and giving you like, negative attention. Attention nonetheless, but still.
How you doing? And welcome back to another video. Today I have big old Jimbo Marriott with me.
It's me.
It's you. I guess this is a chapter, meaning that we've got to put this little treacle up. I miss this man.
Going back in time.
He's famous now. Now, this video was pretty much my first ever interaction with Oli, and as you can tell in the video, it was a very long time ago. I look different, Oli London looks very different, but back then, this was when we were first getting...
Wait, hold on. Was the guy in the video someone else or Oli? I'm confused. James Marriott. Okay. I think I'm getting trolled. Never mind.
Introduced to this guy.
That
the title of the
very
video
high.
was Creepy Man Paid $100,000 to Look Like Jim in BTS, and this was pretty much all he was known for back then.
I actually look Korean now.
Oh yeah.
I actually look
Say
Korean.
like that.
And you put the Korean injection in me, I feel Korean. Wow.
My favorite part about this clip is even the bloke's
You
like,
look
oh, please,
Korean.
mate, stop, don't say that. I'm gonna lose.
Okay, is anybody in my chat Korean? Don't lie. Any Koreans in my chat right now? I need to ask a very important question. What does being Korean feel like? Anyone here know? Not a single Korean in my chat? Come on, just one person, please. We have to know. We have to know what it feels like. I need to know. All right, I know I for a fact I've got at least one Korean fan, all right? At least one Korean subscriber who will see this video and be able to leave me a comment, okay? So I want you, if you're watching this right now and you're Korean, I need you to comment what it feels like to be Korean, okay? Because frankly, I can't even imagine. What that would feel like.
Lose my job. But yeah, it was very much the starting of the Oli London career, I guess, historical timeline. This was in the year period of 2019 and 2018 of where people were saying, is this man a creepy stalker? Is he doing this for attention? And just in general, I think it was a mix of the both. And it starts, obviously, the video from Inabber, the video from Inabber, and the video from Inabber. And basically, this was the ongoing war between me and Oli London in 2019 and 2020, which led to wonderful Instagram posts and responses from Oli London.
Yeah, hold on. Wait, Inabber has like a history of dunking on Oli London. So what interests me is, you know, Inabber is like, you know, it's known enough that Inabber is left wing. I'm curious like how Oli London is going to handle such a like known left wing pro trans person who's always been against them. Coming out to be like, no, you're doing a grift right now. I know what you're doing. Like, I'm curious how that's gonna go for Oli, or how Oli's gonna handle it, if acknowledge it at all. Like, if Oli's smart, they won't acknowledge it at all. Like, he won't in any way acknowledge any of the call-outs, any of the people digging up his past. I say as if it's old, like bringing up what he was doing like a month ago, I guess, you know, like I don't know.
He said things like this: "You are so obsessed with me, you'll never stop talking about me, because it gets you more views than other of your shit videos combined. You look horrific, and you will never look good even with $1 million plastic surgery, and you have no right to criticize the way I look and the way others live their life. Get a life, you sad, ugly loser. Go to hell." Can somebody take me back?
Damn,
someone
the
take
left.
me back to the era where
There
Oli
you go.
London was
That right there is a good example of the left pushing Oli London into being Oli London.
Okay. I mean, I genuinely prefer this to whatever the timeline is now. I mean, honestly, it's weird to think that I'm nostalgic for Oli London calling me ugly, but it's just the go to hell bit, which is genuinely beautiful.
Yeah.
Man, you need to go back to this. You gotta
Times
stop
were
doing what you're
simpler.
doing now. Just do this. Just call me ugly, Oli. I'm willing to take the sacrifice. I am. If it means you stop doing whatever you're doing now, I'm willing to do it. Let's have a boxing match, my friend. Let's stop all of this
let's
stuff
go.
and actually just be whatever you were back in 29. I shouldn't even be recommending this, but
Wait, that'd be
it was
awesome.
a fun time. It was a funny time. It was a strange time. But yes, my friends, this was pretty much the very beginning of the Oli London
Inabber
K-pop
versus Oli
controversy.
London
And this pretty much
boxing
led to an
match.
entire
Let's
campaign against
go.
Oli London, speaking about all of these things. Even people like PewDiePie made a video about the situation. Other K-pop related content creators made videos about the situation, doing deep dives into everything that this man had done. And pretty much by the end of 2019, early 2020, this guy had built himself a reputation as a troll. Now, a lot of people that don't know enough about Oli don't realize he's a troll, but to the people like me, then, the people that watch these videos and have seen Oli since 2018 know
scholars,
that
if you
this
will.
guy is an immaculate troll. Whether it causes loads of damage or not, you have to admit, he is fantastic at getting outrage by trolling.
In Korea already, you're pretty well known now as the guy or the man who has spent $100,000 just on plastic surgery to look more like Jimin, right? So how do you feel about that? How that you're kind of known for that now a little bit in Korea?
I mean, I'm happy that a lot of Korean people know me, and I'm sure Jimin will know me by now. He must know me.
You know, I can't help but like kind of laugh that like in the political stratosphere, this is the
That's
man
a
that is now being
terrifying
taken
statement.
serious as like a representation
stalking
of
must know me
serious
by now.
identity related issues. It's like, boys, we really need to realize how fucking warped this world has become. When Oli London is being as treated as like some political right-wing commentator, there is something wrong. Something in the simulation has broken. But yeah, after that clip, it led to other things such as Oli realizing he can now make a music career out of this because obviously it would get more outrage. And here's an
Are we gonna
example
get
of
Tom
that.
McDonald here shit?
I am perfection in every single day. I am perfection in each and every day.
Look, I'm not gonna go for all of this. I don't want to like gouge my ears out, but this was his music career, and there's a lot of songs out. He's even made diss tracks. Basically, you can kind of get the vibe that this man knew what to do.
You think
for
I'll get a
attention.
diss
Music
track
on
made on me,
YouTube does
chat?
well. Diss tracks do well. This man was fully making a career out of being a hated troll. And look, my friends, trust me, you're not gonna want to hear me go on a big breakdown for everything, but obviously it is a chapter, and therefore it has to go onto the board. But I think the most important reason and the most valid thing that actually made Oli who he is today and how famous he is today is BTS star Jimin, who I previously briefly mentioned. But basically, yeah, this is why Oli London is so famous, because Oli based his entire YouTube and social media persona around this creator, pretty much trying to be this person, pretty much trying to do everything that this person did, and even to the
Skin
point of
changer.
actually getting married to a carve-out cutout of
Skinwalker.
him. Basically, Jimin is the reason that Oli London is relevant, and not because Jimin ever acknowledged
Yeah,
him,
we have a
not
cryptid
because
on our
Jimin ever
hands,
spoke
guys.
about him. In fact, Jimin has never spoken about him, but because of Oli doing this. I tattooed Jimin's name to my face for his birthday. This is a perfectly normal thing to do, and if you do this, you are definitely a very normal person who is a representation of
Reminds me
any
of the
group
girl
out
that
there
got
that you claim
Drake
to be a part of.
tattooed
It's
across her
very
forehead.
normal. BTS superfan
was
buys
like,
5,000
"Oh,
copies of K-pop magazine to
I
show
don't
his
even
love
wanna
for
look
Jimin.
at it anymore.
My
It's
surgical
just so
transformation to become
humbling,
Jimin.
yeah.
I made a clone of Jimin and married him. This is the man that is being used as a martyr, a representation of the I can't even say it. I can't even say it. It's fucking mental. What is going on? Oli London, I love Jimin. I'm having a baby Jimin. My wedding to a Jimin lookalike. I want to fucking die. Apparently, this is a perfectly normal, sane individual that definitely should be taken as a representation for a certain community in the political stratosphere. You know why I stay away from politics when it
no,
comes to
this
social media influencers?
No, it's actually like the best fitting thing ever. Like Oli London and the right are like two perfectly fitting jigsaw pieces coming together. The right is like this is the perfect thing for Oli London to do. The right builds themselves on disingenuous propagandists that lie about their personal lives in order to convince people that like something happened to them that evaluates or validates their political beliefs, when in reality, you actually look into what their lives are really like, and turns out they lied about that story that supposedly how they became right-wing when they were once left-wing or whatever, right? Didn't the Carlin Borisenko lady, that one grifter who did the why left the left thing, didn't she get like called out? Like, didn't somebody who knew her for a while or something be like, you were never a leftist? What are you talking about? You've always been like a moderate conservative at least. I remember something along those lines. It was funny.
It's because these people will do fucking anything to prove their points. Even if it's a terrible way to do it, they will just do it no matter what. You guys are sick because I know you don't believe that this guy is a representation of a community, and I know you don't think that this guy is, somebody to even be used to speak about these issues. And I understand they will fight back, being like, "Oh, we never said these things." I'm sorry, but when you take a look at these interviews, it's very clear what they are.
I love when conservatives like. It's just that's the thing about being a lefty online, right? Or just being any left-wing talker, right? Like somebody who tries to defeat conservative talking points with left-wing talking points is that the right will always be able to lie about what they believe because they have to, and you know that they're lying, they know that you know they're lying, and both of you know at the same time that everybody else on the sidelines doesn't know that the right winger is lying and is falling for all of it. Which is why, like, anytime you see like a conservative lefty debate, the conservatives always like grinning ear to ear with some like DreamWorks smile as they say something like, "I'm just asking questions," because they know exactly what they're doing. They know how mad the lefty that they're talking to is, that like, oh, if they say you're a fucking racist, this is what you believe, then they'll be able to say, oh, how could you say something like that? Are you trying to destroy my career? Are you trying to cancel me? And, they can do the whole, like, play the victim thing. And so there really is, at least from the perspective of a lot of lefties and the conservatives who do this, no way to win from a left-wing perspective when going up against one of these people. Unless you're willing to behave as rhetorically dishonest as them, or you're willing to actually, like, just analytically break down the points at which they're doing dishonest shit. But at that point, like, you're gonna come off to range trying to explain, well, actually, what you just said here is a dog whistle, and it really means this. They can just say, like, oh, no, it doesn't. And then, it's really hard to engage with people whose political opinions encourage them to be as bad of human beings as feasibly possible, and to lie about their motivations while they're at it in order to fool well-meaning idiots into also agreeing with them.
If you have a brain cell that hasn't been warped by the political spectrum, you will know what's going on here. It's very obvious, and you do not need more than one brain cell to really work it out. But sadly, these people are so dedicated to their cause that they just won't for 1 second take a minute out to just be like, you know what, maybe this guy isn't the man to help our cause. Because honestly, if you are trying to indoctrinate me in the right wing, using Oli London isn't a good way to do that. I mean, even Candace Owens literally said, this man's an attention seeker.
Oli London just wants attention.
I do not agree with that woman politically on pretty much anything, but...
Listen, takes one to know one, all right? Candace Owens is like, she's got like the Shinigami eyes for grifters, I bet, because she herself is probably the biggest grifter with a platform out there right now. So I actually, if I wanted to know if somebody was trolling and scamming an entire group of people, I would go and ask Candace Owens if she thinks this person is like grifting and scamming a bunch of people, because she would know. She would be like, oh yeah, no, I can tell. I'm the right person to go to.
This is the one time I will agree with this human being. Please, for the love of God, realize you are being played by an internet master troll. And
why is Kanye West called Ye?
I'm 25, and I shouldn't be speaking about this. I should be printing out fax files. Do they still use fax? I'm going to pretend they do.
Hi everyone, it's Oli and Jimin, Oli Min. So I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to everyone for the amazing support for our marriage. It was, a difficult decision knowing that the world would criticize us, but we're extremely happy. And it's, Jimin's someone I've looked up to and loved since, he debuted in 2013. So this is a dream come true to have a wedding.
I like how the cardboard cutout looks freaked out. Like, look at the cardboard cutout's eyes. Even the cardboard cutout looks scared to be there.
You got Jimin engraved on my ring, so we're very happy together as well.
I feel like I could edit this up and make it like seem like a Korean horror film. I feel like this could be the beginning to the white man is obsessed with
Korean Get Out. Wait, yeah, no, that is what this is the Korean. This could inspire a movie that would be the Korean Get Out. That's what this is.
with the Korean culture, and it's leading to some horrific things, and this is what we get. This is the result of it. This is fucking mental. And the more you kind of look back on the last 4 years, the more you realize that, my God, somebody needed to call the police. Somebody needed to stop this. Somebody call Interpol, man, because this guy's like an international Korean wannabe crime lord. Why did nobody stop this? Because it's led to where we are at now. I can laugh, but I'm laughing because I'm fucking terrified. This is insane. What the fuck is going on? I cannot, and I will keep saying it, believe that this man is getting on political news shows and is being used to speak about actual real life issues. What? It's just amazing to me that people like Tucker Carlson will actually pretend that they take this guy serious, because he knows that his audience, who probably aren't as smart as him for the most part, will actually take it serious and will eat that shit up and use it to suit whatever agenda that Tucker Carlson probably has. But yeah, this was pretty much the Jimin saga with Oli London and him basically stealing somebody's identity. As you can see from tweets and videos, there were so many cases of this person stealing someone's identity.
Story,
so yeah, I think the man that's pretty much just inadvertently caused this all has to go on the board. Now, I actually truly do feel sorry for this man, because he's had his entire identity used to pretty much build up an entire career, which is now being used to, well, to do whatever we're talking about today. And that's actually quite sad, but unfortunately for Jimin's sake, you're going on the board. But then we move further down the timeline of 2021 and 2022, because Oli London didn't only try to take Jimin's identity, he then moved on to another K-pop star. Because, you know, it is widespread known that Oli London did come out as transgender. He came out as non-binary, as a transgender woman, but he also, the problem is he also came out as transracial, which is obviously a very strange thing to do. And I don't think I need to really explain the differences between transgender and transracial, other than transgender is actually a real thing, and changing your race is obviously not a real thing. If your mother and father was white, you are.
So, there is actually a real convo I feel like you could have about the merits of transracialism. Like, you know, sociologists and whatnot, like the people whose entire field of study it is to like study the ways that like our culture develops and the way that we view things based on our development, and like how, like all these things, right? Like all these groups sort of agree that race as we know it now is very much a social construct, right? Like the concepts we have of race are like really fucking weird. Like for example, man, what's a good example? I don't know a lot about Korea, so I guess I'll hone in on like the nearest geographical like country that I do know a bit about, like the racial dynamics of, and that's the Philippines. You see a lot of people in the Philippines, like there's actually a lot of like ethnic variety, believe it or not. And yet like most people here in America would still say like, oh, Filipino, right? So we've sort of like, our society is just sort of like developed to say, oh yeah, you know, like you racially, that's where you're from, that's what you are, right? Even though ethnically, like there's a lot of actually diversity in that country. And I imagine it's very much the same. What is that squeaking? I think it's my my earbuds. I'll probably switch to my other headset in a minute, or my Bluetooth headset in a minute. It'll go away. But like what we consider race to be now is different than what we considered race to be 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago, and probably different than what we'll consider race to be 100 years from now. So is race this hard set thing you can't change? If we believe all of those things, it really doesn't seem like those are two, like you can consistently believe that, right? That race is this unchanging, like, you know, thing that you're born with, your mom or your dad were this or that. And also it's a socially constructed thing based on how our society has like labeled certain groups of people from certain locations and the way they look and what traits they have physically that you can see. Like, I don't know. It just, I think it's a pointless conversation. I don't think transracialism is a very relevant like topic, but I think I think just, you know, talking about it as if it's completely lacking of any merit whatsoever isn't necessarily offensive or harmful, but definitely like, I think a little anti-intellectual, you know? I think it's fine to wonder like about things like this and to talk about things like this, even if it seems off the top of your head, like immediately at first glance seems a little crazy, you know?
white. Your skin color is different to your gender. I don't even think I need to explain this. And the fact that people will, you know, try to play blissful ignorance and claim that it's no different are mental. But again, this is something that's happened and I've seen, and it's just sick. It really is just sick. But alas, he came out as transracial and pretty much tried to steal the identity of another K-pop star called Rose.
So I just want to come out and say that I now want to join Blackpink. I'm auditioning for YG. I'm doing a cover of How You Like That. I should totally be the 5th member of Blackpink. And my new name is Oli London. Rose is now my bias. Lisa was my bias before. Now Rose is my bias. So
What does bias mean? Does any, like, I know what bias means in like you're biased or you have a bias, but that's clearly not the context that we're talking about here. Unless bias means like, oh, I stan this person and so I'm biased in favor of them. Is that what it means? Is this like stan speak? I don't understand. Favorite member, I think. Bias means favorite member. What's the... So just bias just means, okay. Why do BTS stans, like K-pop stans, why do they use words like this? Why are they like this? Why are they like this, chat? I need an answer. I cannot come out of this segment without an answer on this, okay? What happened? Like K-pop isn't like... it's not like 100 gecs. Like K-pop isn't like horrifically bad or like horrible or anything in my opinion, at least when I've seen of it. So like, why is the community so deranged? Cause kids like to make up words and definitions. What is it about K-pop that's attracting like a lot of young people, like a lot of kids? Cause like I had one friend who was a K-pop stan that I'm no longer even friends with. But I never really got a good idea of what the draw was to that content, you know? Also, these iron furnaces go hard.
I want to look like her, so I've just had all my surgery to look like Rose.
I don't think I need to really explain why this isn't the most sane or normal thing. I really don't think I need to. But apparently, people take this seriously. I'm gonna fucking kill. Basically, not only do we have trolling behavior to an absolute extent of insanity, but it also obviously becomes stalking at one point, in my personal opinion. I have to say it legally, because, you know, as much as you can say it's a joke, a troll, you're doing it for attention, you are still taking somebody's identity and using it to get hundreds of thousands of views on the internet. If you don't, you know, care about anything that I've spoken about here, just think that, imagine if there was a human being saying that they are you, trying to look like you, getting surgery to look like you. Imagine they are doing that and using your name, and they are on the internet getting hundreds of thousands of views doing it. Imagine how horrific that is and messed up that is. And people just accept this, and it's just insane to me. Because whilst I know he's a troll and does these things for attention, it doesn't justify these actions, because ultimately he still is doing these actions. And I think the problem is a lot of these people like to conflate this as like trans-related issues. I don't think it's that. I think it's like money-related. I think the fact that Oli knows he can make so much money from this and doing the things that he's done in the last 4 years of pretending to be someone else, I think he knows that he will make money from that and get attention from that, and he will only do more and more insane shit. On the internet, when somebody discovers monetization in numbers, they can be pushed to doing the most insane things. I know it's not the same, but look at Logan Paul.
Well, look at Nikocado Avocado. If you have any doubts in your mind that somebody would do some crazy shit for attention and money and clout on the internet, look at Nikocado Avocado. This guy's literally famous for the fact that he's just killing himself slowly on the internet with overeating. Like, that's what he's famous for. Like, this isn't that crazy, you know? It's like, it's really not that crazy to think that somebody would do something like this and follow the clout. The internet literally makes people insane. People will literally go insane for internet clout.
And what he did in a certain part of this world, he did that out of the necessity and drive to get as much views and clicks and money as possible. Money and views and the internet are an addiction, and these people are addicted. And it has led to a lot of obsessive shit. In particular, some of the...
I'm not kidding, guys. Like, I feel like it doesn't really have that strong of a hold over me, but it really is addictive to see like a 1 out of 10 in your upload thing when you upload a video on YouTube. So for those that don't know, when you upload videos on YouTube, after like 15 minutes to 30 minutes, YouTube rates the video 1 out of 10. based on like how well it did. It's kind of counterintuitive because 1 is best and 10 is the worst. So it basically ranks them from 1st to 10th of your last 10 uploads. How well is this one performing? And if you're always getting 1s, it means that each of your videos are just keep on getting new views and performing better than the last, which is what you want to see. And you can get so fucking addicted to seeing those 1s out of 10s when you upload new videos. So goddamn addicted. It's enticing, right?
Stuff that Oli London has done. I would not be surprised if this man has received multiple legal threats from BTS's management. I hear a lot that they are very, very specific at they like to sue a lot of people. I would not be surprised if this man has faced multiple threats of lawsuits or at least restraining orders from Jimin, because when you go through a lot of his content, you can definitely see that yes, this man has done a lot of creepy things here when it comes to Jimin from BTS, and in my opinion, it definitely constitutes as
Zan
stalking.
Nikocado does it for a fetish? Guys, Nikocado Avocado may or may not be into like the eating feeding fetish stuff. God, look at that world gen. Nikocado Avocado may or may not be into that stuff, but regardless, he's doing it for money. Like, there's a reason why it's nonstop like OnlyFans uploads for that stuff, and like why it's being monetized so heavily. It's because it's making money. If it stopped making money, like literally just stopped making any money tomorrow, Nikocado Avocado would probably just lose 50 pounds within a year, at least, with it just on the merit of like, oh, he's not doing daily mukbangs, possibly more than once a day mukbangs, in order to keep the content flow consistent, right? Like, I'm pretty certain a lot of it is the money and attention, because as long as Nikocado Avocado keeps doing that, as far as he can tell, the attention will keep coming. But if that starts to fail, I have no doubt in my mind that Nikocado Avocado might look for a redemption arc to try to get into shape and like go back to his old form of content. Because I would unironically tune in to every single video. If Nikocado Avocado started doing like workout vlogs and was like, I'm losing weight, we're going to track my weight loss, and I'm working out like every other day. You know, like we're getting in the pool and doing a couple of laps, we're starting with low impact stuff. Like if that was Nikocado Avocado's channel starting tomorrow, I would not miss a single upload. I would not miss a single upload, and Nikocado Avocado's workout videos and like workout updates and fitness updates would literally be my go-to daily like check-in to see what's up. Like that is some of my favorite content.
Enough, this will then be warped into everything to do with his identity and his detransitioning, and that ultimately leads to stuff like this, where Oli himself groups him in with pretty much every single person out there.
Oli London joins us tonight. Oli London, thanks so much for coming on. So why did you decide to become a Korean woman? Who told you that was possible?
So obviously I've had a difficult time with my gender identity struggles. I was never unhappy with how I looked. So I started changing, I started dressing as a Korean woman, and I realized that was a big mistake and I just want to be a boy. But you know, is it any wonder people like me and young people want to change their gender when we have the normalization of this in our schools in this country?
It immediately starts with, oh, why did you...
You just know that Oli London was like, okay, I'm getting on Tucker Carlson. Here's my chance to get the fucking bag. All right, we've got the entire list of like anti-trans talking points that these boomer ghouls want to hear. Okay, I'm going to just come out and say, he's 30, by the way. He said boy, he's literally 30. Okay, so, yeah, like, you know, he had like an entire printout of like talking points he needed to run through immediately in order to win over the audience, right? Because like, it's almost like, conservatives are like skulk sensors in the new Minecraft update, you know? You know the skulk sensors, the ones that if you like don't crouch around them, like if you gotta crouch like this, or if you make noise, then it sends like the sound vibration to the skulk sensor, and then that sets off the other thing. They're like skulk sensors. Once you've set off 3 vibrations they like in a row, they'll love you, and they'll follow you to your other stuff and start supporting you. And that's what this guy did. Oli did.
transition into being a Korean woman? And that's a pretty valid question. Why did you claim to be transracial, you know? That's a valid question, but then it moves straight on to, oh, everyone's facing these issues. No, they're not, Ollie. Not every trans person is taking the identity of a Korean woman from a Korean band, which literally exists. That's not something that happens, but obviously they want to kind of represent it as that. And also, when it comes to these people speaking about these issues, they like to pretend that, like, the schools of this world are like these woke stratospheres of where everyone's very gay and accepting. And the reality is, I grew up in a British school. I know people that go to American schools. We all know that if you just come out as gay, you're going to get bullied in school. I knew one gay...
I think it really depends, but you will be treated different. You will absolutely be treated different. You won't necessarily, like, I'm not saying that everybody who comes out as gay or LGBT in, say, high school will be treated negatively, but you'll be treated different. And that's sometimes all it really takes, right? Like, listen, I'm not LGBT, I'm cis and straight and all of that, so I don't really have this experience. But, like, I would assume that even if I came out to my friends and it was like, yo, I'm LGBT, and my friends were accepting, but they still treated me different, I don't think I'd like that. I really don't. I don't think I'd like that. You know, like, just in any way being treated different, even if it's nicer. And I think that's what it is for a lot of people, right? You're going to be treated differently. You know?
Gay person in school. This is before I came out as bisexual, and they got bullied. And it is still like that to this day. It still is, and you are lying to yourself if you genuinely don't believe that it's like that. And that's why I believe that the acceptance of LGBTQ plus people should be taught. Not because I think these people should be taught to be that, but because I think people need to be taught that just like religion and other aspects of who we are as human beings, we should accept that because our gender, our race, our religion is just a part of who we are. Now, that doesn't mean you can change your race, Ollie, but gender and race are obviously two very different things. What I'm saying here is that I think the acceptance of these things should be taught, but obviously when it comes to saying and telling people that they definitely are these things...
So, you don't need to teach acceptance. You don't. With these issues, really. I don't think you do. I've found in my experience that just the education enough is enough. Or the education alone is enough, really. Like, as long as someone is a fundamentally good person. Like, so obviously you have your conservatives that legitimately just they take pride in the fact that they don't care about anybody or anything, right? I'm like the Joker. I don't care about anything or anyone. What are you, some kind of care frog? Like that kind of like Joker shit. You know, like obviously there's people like that who you can't really get through since they sort of ontologically are opposed to caring about doing good. But people who actually think they're doing good by believing these things, yeah, like, I lost what I was saying. I'm gonna be honest. I forgot what point I was coming back around to make. But I'm sure it was gonna be really good. So I just want you guys to imagine that I made a really good point. You agreed, and you clapped, and everyone clapped.
Even if they don't think that, that's obviously bad, and that's something these people like to always speak about.
Children are taught from a young age, from the age of 5 in some cases, that it's okay to change their gender.
But to be honest, I think that's a very, very small and minor issue that barely happens, and it's another case of these people using a small issue that's happened one time to represent an entire community. Just like Oli London. This guy, obviously, based on the small things we've gone through so far, is very, very not normal and insane, and I know that's not the best English, but they are weirdly using this guy as a representation of all trans people. It's just ridiculous, especially when these people never speak about the things like beauty pageants existing, some of the worst possible things. They'll rant about so many things out there, but when it comes to cheerleading, little girls cheerleading and going into beauty pageants and being rated on how they're dressing and their looks, they'll never say anything about that, but they'll be sure to just speak about trans people existing. I was gonna like print out Tucker Carlson and, you know, put him on the board, but honestly, I'm really not comfortable with anybody accidentally finding a photo of Tucker Carlson on a board in my office. I feel like that would be something where somebody may call the police on me, and honestly, I wouldn't blame them. I don't want that possibility to happen. I do not want a photo of Tucker Carlson. So we're just going to imagine that bell end is on this wall. He's not, but we're gonna imagine it. But my friends, that does lead us into the final part of this historic timeline, and yes, it has been a little bit messy here and there, and sometimes we've got off topic, but alas, this is the final chapter to the Oli London conundrum. Basically,
made it, chat.
detransitioning and Oli London being a master of outrage. Yes, I know we focused on the detransitioning part a lot, but we're gonna go further in, and we're also gonna speak about the outrage. And yeah, this is probably one of the most important things to go on the board, because honestly, the whole detransitioning plus outrage thing has pretty much culminated in everything that we're about to go into and everything that we already have kind of been going into today.
By the way, I feel like Oli London is such a perfect representative, not for trans people, but for detransitioners. Don't you guys agree? Like, there's really no better person to represent the detransitioner, like, phenomena / movement, right? Because, like, it's always been, like, framed with an air of dishonesty, hasn't it? And just having somebody like this be, like, at the forefront of all of it really feels fitting. Like, very well, you know, just... Yeah, no, that's exactly who should be at the front of the detransitioner movement, you know? Like, this seems about, you know, as genuine as the rest.
It's just a complete utter mess. And it's not even detransitioning from being transgender, it's transitioning away from, just in general, the support for the LGBTQ plus community. I mean, listen to what he has to say here.
I've seen a lot of other people online that have come out and been very brave about it and shared their story about how they identify, their gender, their pronouns, etc. So, you know, I've taken courage from these incredibly brave people, and it is Pride Month at the moment, so, you know, I thought this was the best time to do it. You know, and add a voice, add strength to the LGBTQ+I community.
Yeah. It's like, how could you say stuff like this and call people brave, but then your entire Twitter account is just attacking the woke mob?
Wow.
I just don't really get it. And we'll go more into his Twitter. But yeah, it's a very strange place, especially ones where it's like tweets saying, why is nobody in the LGBTQ+ community speaking about the Qatar World Cup and how they treat LGBT people? It's like, mate, we are.
Everybody's talking about
we
Qatar
are
World
doing
Cup.
that. But yes, firstly, the whole
Qatar
detransitioning
World Cup.
part. And I know Oli has been a little bit vocal about this and how people treat him over this. Because yes, Oli did detransition, and personally, I don't have a problem with that. I have friends that have detransitioned. It's something that can happen, and it's Oli's choice to whatever he wants to identify as in terms of his gender. I think that's fine, you know? And I'm not even going to speak about it longer than that, other than that obviously led into him getting into politics. But then we also need to speak, obviously, as I said, about the outrage. Because obviously, as we've worked out throughout this deep dive, Oli very much realized from a very long time ago he could make a career and profiteer of outrage. He went into the K-pop community knowing that it was a community.
So, like, that's completely true. That this is pretty in line with what Oli London tends to do, right? Like, I am fine if all of the attention I get is just hate. If it, like Oli London is an attention seeker. It doesn't matter what the nature of that attention is, as long as it is people paying attention. That is all they care about. And negative attention will do it. And I think I was almost conflicted on whether or not I wanted to cover this, because I know, like, what kind of person Oli London is, and me covering this, as well as Inabber, but, you know, me as well, like, we are feeding into that desire for negative attention, right? We are doing that implicitly just by, you know, covering this and talking about it. It's what he wants. But I still think it's important to talk about it regardless, because the right is basically having complete free reign to go haywire with the narrative on this, right? To just basically take Oli London's lie of a story and run with it as if it was truth. And not only truth, but representative of the entire LGBT community and their experiences and what they believe and who they are and how valid or, not valid, how sincere their identity is. Yeah, and so now we're just, you know, now he's just going to get hate from a completely different, like, side of things, right? Or not even a different side of things, just for different reasons now, right? Like, before it was everybody was dunking on him for being weird and crazy, and now it's like, oh, but if I become a right-wing political figure, I'll be in a non-stop cancel cycle, and I can just keep saying offensive stuff, and I'll just get more attention. It really is that easy for them. So I wouldn't be surprised if that is their endgame.
community, which is known for being very, very loud and vocal, and he knew that, oh yes, he can take advantage of that, and he definitely did that, and now he has moved on because obviously he wasn't really, as I guess, relevant, he wasn't as loved, and he realized that maybe he can't do this forever, and I agree, but what he did probably realize that he can do forever is politics, and the difference is, not only is he now profiteering off outrage in that community, but he is actually being loved for it. For the first time ever, Oli London is creating a community for himself based on the things that we've been speaking about today to do with outrage. When you look at the guy's tweets, as I said earlier, he is developing a fan base. When you go to the comments, and yeah, these comments are hilarious, mainly because these people genuinely believe every single word that this guy says because it suits their agenda. A lot of these people are vehemently against trans people. You don't have to look further in the comment section to see comments to do with that sort of thing, and Oli knows this. He knows that there are two different types of fans here. He knows that there are, one, people that don't actually have any idea who this guy is and realize that they're being played by this guy. And in fact, I imagine a lot of these people just think, oh, we've got another regular, right-wing political figure that's not done any of the insane things that we've gone through today, because why would they know all the things that we've gone through today? But secondly, there are obviously a group of fans out there that will know the things that they've done, but don't actually care. I'm not going to attempt to entertain any of these people because I know that they don't.
Chat, let's see if I just made a great, if I just made a perfect circle first try. Well, I'll be a hairless baby's left toe. That right there is a perfect circle. That's a good base for my, I'm making a lighthouse. I'm making a nice lighthouse to look out at the water here. It's actually going to be a tower for looking out, but yeah.
Don't care about trans rights. I know that they don't, but they are willing to put all of their realization of what Oli's done aside because they know that they can say, haha, look at this insane person. Isn't he a representative of everything that we are against? And Oli absolutely knows this, and in fact, he embraces this. And as I keep bringing up, his Twitter account very much is a perfect representation of it. And I've done the numbers and the research on this account, and there are some fascinating things in this which really do truly show how much of a bullshitter this guy is. But firstly, let's go through some of these tweets where he obviously plays up to outrage, speaking about things such as biology and not being able to ignore biology anymore and saying how biology and chromosomes can't change. Very, like textbook tweets, very standard. Oh, look at me, guys. I'm a right winger. We get it. We know, man. You are literally no different to any other person. I mean, the thing is, Oli, at least before he had a bit of unique sense to him, now he's just literally every other conservative political commentator under the sun, saying absolutely nothing different and nothing unique with things such as,
why be unique as a conservative commentator if it's not necessary? Right? The reason why so many of these figures seek out conservative commentary as a career is because it doesn't require you to think. So probably at least once a stream, I think, oh my god, these absolute fucking jackasses have it so easy. These fucking idiots, these goddamn conservatives, they can just, they literally just can say whatever they want. And their fans are just too stupid and or gullible and or just willing to just believe lies to do anything about it. They don't give a shit. Yeah. My biology. Need my biology, chat. My biology. You can't change the chromosome. Biology, chat.
Campaigning against trans women who just simply won a beauty pageant, which is not only disgusting and sick, but it shows the lengths he's prepared to go to, despite, as I've shown throughout this video, he has previously aired his support for the LGBT community, and it's just mad to me that he's willing to sacrifice all of that in the name of sparking up outrage to create a new fan base for himself. It's embarrassing, but it only continues. He spends his time on Twitter now going after this trans woman here, basically claiming that they're not actually trans because they have an IMDb page and they're an actor. It's like, mate, I don't think that's actual evidence of anything. It's like, well, maybe they're just an actor who's also trans. It's like, mate, these are not correlating things here. But also, it's just obvious what's going on. Every single tweet this man has made since October about the trans community, 99% of them have some form of negative connotation. It's just constantly going on about calling the trans community pretty much a cult, the woke mob, a lobby, an agenda. Every buzzword under the sun he has put in a tweet in the last month. It's obvious what's going on here. Obviously, I said outrage. This guy knows how to generate it, but sadly it's not even funny anymore. It's just boring and sad, and he's just pretty much just repeating what Tucker Carlson says. But, you know, I mean, at least Tucker Carlson can get called somewhat entertaining by his fans. This is just boring and just repeated talking points. And then when you actually go through Oli's Twitter and analyze how many tweets he's made about the trans community, not recently, but between the time he created his account in 2009 to October 2022, you would realize that this man has used the word trans in a tweet 9 times in that amount of time. Over a decade, he only used the word trans in a tweet 9 times. But then when you look at the amount he has used this word in tweets between October and today's date, it is a very peculiar thing, because rather than 9 times, it's actually 83 times. In the last month, pretty much, Oli London, in comparison to his 9 times in over 10 years, has tweeted 83 times the word trans. And as I said, every single one pretty much is negative in comparison to the 9 tweets before, which were all pretty much positive. As you can see, what's happened here is in October, after he was having his interviews, he realized what he needed to do. He realized he needed to go get the right-wing dictionary and use it to his advantage, and that's absolutely what he has done. And I am just showing you this basically to make you guys, well, obviously I know a lot of you realize this, but to make any right-winger who managed to get to this point in this video realize that this guy is absolutely full of shit, and he is definitely playing you like a complete fiddle. I just don't understand how this guy is being used as like a serious political figure in the conservative stratosphere. It's actually quite embarrassing. It really is.
I do want to interject and say this. I feel like it's always so vindicating, I guess, to see non-lefties, like, well, I mean, Inabber's a lefty, but I don't think Inabber's like a leftist. I don't think Inabber's like a radical lefty in the same way that I am. And I'm not even that crazy radical, but like I'm radical enough that like I see a spade and I call it a spade without much care for how it'll affect my reputation as a content creator, you know? Like if I see somebody that's like, oh, Nazi, you know, I'll just call them a Nazi if they're espousing what I believe to be fascistic Nazi beliefs, and that's something that Inabber couldn't do for the sake of, you know, keeping the career, because calling conservative figures Nazis, even if they are saying and acting like Nazis, is just, it comes off as SJWE online. But yeah, make a Zan W emote. There doesn't need to be a Zan W emote. You just type Zan W. That's the meme. Zan W means Zan took a W. Like Zan W, if we made a Zan W emote, it would be a play on Squad W, and Squad W is Trainwreck's face zoomed in. The W the W references pressing the W key in video games to walk forward. And so like the face is zoomed in, so that's what it means by W. But when you say like Zan W, it means like Zan took a W, as in took a win. Different contexts.
Because these people expect to be taken serious? I mean, especially when you look at the fact that Oli is still considering getting plastic surgery to look like other K-pop stars. He's probably not going to do that, but he knows how to get attention. That has 1,000+ quote tweets. He knows what he is doing, and he knows how to stir the pot. I have a crush on Kai from XO. Maybe I should get plastic surgery to look like him next. He knows what he's doing here, just like he knows what he's doing in the right-wing political sphere. As I said, I don't doubt that he holds some political conservative views, but ultimately I know that he amplifies them, because I know Oli London. I've made so many videos about him, and I know that he is a troll. June 28th, for example, he was comparing himself to Cher for attention. July 10th, comparing himself to Madonna for attention. In July, he was still stealing another woman's identity, but more importantly, in July, he was also making sure people are careful about his pronouns, but a few months later, he is then criticizing people for getting, I guess, upset when somebody deliberately doesn't respect their pronouns. It's hilarious, because these conservatives are like, oh, he's on our side now, when only a few months ago, he was literally on the complete opposite side. But also, it's just sad that he would outright sell out the community that were just supportive of him when he actually chose to identify in a way which he...
I disagree. No, the left and the trans community was not supportive of Oli London. I did not see a single trans person argue that Oli London was valid. All I saw was torrents of trans people saying, "Who the fuck is this guy?" Like, and dunking. Like, I did not see a single trans person being like, "Oh yeah, so no, that didn't happen. It just didn't. It didn't happen." Like maybe there were some people out there that were like, "It's not my business. You know, you're valid if okay, whatever. If you say you're this, then it's not my place to you know determine whether or not your identity is valid." But that's very different. I think it's very different than the way it's being framed. Agreed, everyone thought he was a lunatic. Yeah, like, I feel like Oli London, and it's so sad, because Oli London was one of the few cases where the left and the right truly did agree on something, you know? Is there any reason to shear sheep as opposed to punch them in this version? Maybe it just guarantees you more wool each time?
Said that made him comfortable. It's just sad to see somebody so easily sell out their morals and beliefs.
I've seen a lot of other people online that have come out and been very brave about it and shared their story about how they identify, their gender, their pronouns, etc. So, you know, I've taken courage from these incredibly brave people, and it is Pride Month at the moment. So, you know, I thought this was the best time to do it. You know, and add a voice, add strength to the LGBTQ+I community.
What started with me and James Marriott mocking somebody for being a bit weird ended up in a stalker who steals people's identity for attention that then resulted in the conservative media using that definitely not insane person as a way to, I guess, demonize trans people. And I could, you know, sit here and laugh throughout the entire thing, but I think this is worrying because this is just something which I think is only going to continuously put more trans lives at risk, because by people taking this seriously, they're only going to spread more negative stereotypes and opinions and rhetoric out there. And I think that's just horrifying. And Oli, I really think you need to realize that. Like, I can keep saying, oh, I know that you may not directly say things about all trans people, but by you going onto these news platforms, you are only helping perpetuate these rhetorics that these political figures like to...
That's a little too... I feel like that's a little too light, honestly. They literally went on there. Hold on, Oli London literally went on there, and within 30 seconds was saying, and honestly, none of this would have happened if it wasn't for the woke LGBT agenda being pushed in schools. Just immediately getting on board with the genocidal narrative that the right has been pushing. I don't know if... it's hard to know if Inabber's hiding their power level here or not. But like, he isn't American, so it's very possible he just doesn't know. By hiding his power level, I mean like lefty power level, right? Just kind of keeping a little on the low how left wing he is, because you know how it is. It's possible that's what's happening, but I mean, Inabber isn't an American, so maybe he doesn't know what's up here, but like, legitimately, we have conservatives actively engaging in genocidal, like, conservative figures with power here in America. Not like, no, it's just some, you know, Twitter user who's got a fair amount of followers. I mean, like, actual elected representatives spreading, like, genocidal propaganda about the LGBT community. And by genocidal propaganda, I mean broadly accusing them of being groomers and pedophiles. And now, while that may not literally be saying, go kill them all, I think it's, you know, pretty safe to say that when you go on live television to call all trans and LGBT, gay, anything people, groomers and pedos, that the average American conservative who watches, say, Tucker Carlson, the largest political pundit talking head in the world, or in America, but definitely the biggest conservative, goes on TV and says that shit. How do you think the average Tucker Carlson viewer is going to interpret that? That there is an imminent threat to their children, assuming they have kids, that they ought to take care of, take into their own hands. It's why they talk about things such as, man, too bad no one's Second Amendmented Hillary yet. You remember all those quotes about, like, Second Amendmenting Hillary? All those memes back in 2016? They were very common. They would use Second Amendment as, like, a dog whistle for fucking shoot.
Push every single day. And the whole thing is genuinely sick. It's one of the most insane things that I've seen. And I said at the beginning of this video, Oli, I am just disappointed. Like, man, we could have done this for years. We could have danced in the moonlight where I say, wow, isn't this guy a cringy stalker? And, you know, and it's still bad, but like, it's not like it's outright putting people in danger, I think, at least for the most part. But now it's getting to a point of where these people like Tucker Carlson are using this man. He's even going on Piers Morgan. I mean, Piers Morgan, we all know what Piers is known for. Like, it really does just show what's going on here, given who this man is.
To be fair, didn't Piers Morgan, like, absolutely annihilate Andrew Tate? What is it with, like, ghoulish British conservative types and getting into, like, a combo with an American conservative and just absolutely, like, ripping them a new one? Oh. Harder than any American lefty has ever been able to. Like, do you remember Ben Shapiro on British Fox, or I think it was BBC. It was like the right-wing British-ass part of the BBC network. What was that guy's name? Something, fuck it. It was British-sounding name, too. It was a really British-sounding name. Fuck. What's the guy? The guy that made Ben Shapiro rage quit the BBC interview? Andrew Neil, thank you. Yeah, British as fuck sounding name. Andrew Neil. What the fuck? Hey, that's unrealistic. Unrealistic. Oh, I'm not getting those shark's teeth. Those are way too deep down there. In a version before they added fast swimming. Fuck that.
And is interacting with. Even GB News are a news company widespread known for being absolutely horrific in the UK. They're new and they're even hated just as much as The Sun are. And Ollie, I don't know if you knew that, but like, man, please just stop. Like, I'm not in the position to give you a chance, but for the love of God, just stop. Like, you can give your political views if you want. That's fine. I don't care who you vote for. I mean I do, but like I'm not going to make a video about it. But this is different. This is actually pulling people in danger, in my opinion, by playing up to these people that for the last few years have worked their best to come against the LGBT community. And you can say, well, I'm not doing that. You're contributing.
Hey, chat. How many of you remember back in 2016 when the anti-SJW community, when referring to like the idea that there was like bigotry or oppression towards the LGBT community, would say stuff like, we literally have gay marriage and that's not going anywhere. Like, what is there to complain about? What do you think gay marriage, what do you think Trump's gonna get rid of gay marriage? What, like stuff like that. Like, I love how much that people just sort of like wrote, particularly liberals, like especially the anti-SJW liberals, just wrote off federal legalization of gay marriage as a given that we'll never lose. Like, oh yeah, that's a settled issue, right? Like, they can't take that away. Like, so what's the threat of the right being in power? Like, once we've achieved a certain level of this minority group has rights, it's not like we can reverse backwards, you know? And the reason why they think that is because of the way that we teach history here in America. I think it's probably true in a lot of other places, not just America, but particularly here in America, it's definitely true. We teach history here very in a very weird way. So for example, from an American history education, despite knowing the knowledge, you would probably be surprised to learn how many massive historical events happened side by side. Despite the fact that you've remembered the dates for each of these events and you know like where they were and stuff, like, hey, did you know this event happened at the same time as this event? You'd be like, wait, really? Holy shit, these are like completely different like segments of my history book, you know? Like, it really is kind of bizarre the way that we teach history. And another thing we do is we mythologize it, right? So obviously you have, you know, the American myth about like Thanksgiving and how America was founded and our founding fathers and, you know, all of that, the writing of the Constitution, how we're, oh, a perfect country, oh my God, so amazing. You know, all of this, but like, it goes further than that, you know? Like, we're taught a very sanitized and watered-down version of what actually happened. And there's more harm that causes than I think a lot of people realize. Starting with the fact that people just don't know what actually happened, right? They think, like, oh, so, like, history works as in, like, there's bigots, sure, but they're, like, you know, they're assholes, sure, but their time is always limited, right? And they'll always eventually be taken care of or whatever. And it's like once the ground has been tread of getting a certain group their rights and their respect, that ground is tread. We're done, right? Like, now anybody who still harks on about that must be some crazy SJW, right? That's really the vibe that I get. Okay, chat, I think this should look good. Every 2 blocks it goes up 1 block and it should form a nice spiral. That'll look good when it gets up to the top. I'm just gonna need a lot of red dye for this.
To it by going on their platform. You are very, very much doing that. Even if you don't think you're saying these things, you very, very much are contributing. And you can say, oh, well, I had a good take about Balenciaga. Sure, man, you can make those videos. I'm not saying you can't speak about politics, but naturally, I'm seeing somebody who in his own past has spoken about the LGBT community being this great place, and you've also called people transphobic for disagreeing with you, which I disagree with actually as well. I think that's a very silly opinion, and I know it's just you trolling, but alas, it does just come off as very insane to me that you tried to adopt this community and now you're kind of spinning in the face of it because you realize that you can grift and get popularity in this, I guess, right-wing hellhole. And that to me is just sad, and I hope these people realize that I know that I'm not going to change their opinion, but at least they can clock that they are being messed with and profiteered off. So yes, my friends, I think it's I'm using a troll face. It's important to add this, all right? This is a vital piece to the recipe. So far, we've got the early beginnings. We've got the people covering him. We've got the music videos. We've got Jimin. And obviously, we've also got Rose London, which we could probably throw in there. But it's basically the same category as Jimin. It's the identity theft. Identity theft is not a joke.
Identity theft is not a joke, Jim.
It's really not. And that's why this is going on top of all of it. Because the trolling is obviously the most important thing here. It's the money bringer. It's the career curator. It's everything that this man is. An internet troll. So to overall conclude this video, it's just in general a very sad timeline. And Oli, I really don't know where you're going to go. I mean, I know where you're going to go. You're going to continuously get worse and worse. And I bet you're going to go down further rabbit holes whilst putting out tweets, criticizing this video. And Oli, if you don't, have anything constructive, it's just not even worth like speaking anymore. Like, as I've said, I spoke to Oli London like a month ago where I was planning on doing a video where he was, jokingly planning on joining the military. Again, another thing that he's using the K-pop community for attention for. And I was going to make a video like you clowning on it and laughing at it. And then I saw this and I was just so disappointed, and I don't know why. Like, it's not like I have a friendship with this guy, but at least I know that I could speak to him. Like, in the past, he has DM'd me wishing me well. Like, even though we've had this, thing of where he said nasty things about me, I've said bad things about him too. At least there was that weird level of respect, but now I just don't think it's there. I don't think Oli has respect for me, and I don't have respect for him given all of this stuff, because Oli can't have respect for me as for one, I'm a part of the LGBTQ plus community, but also I have friends and family who are a part of that community, and Oli's actions is only helping demonize that community, which is genuinely sick. This is just sad. It really, really is. And this man's entire career has just in general been based on baits, trolling, and weird stalkerish behavior. And it's just mental to me that he's now being taken serious as some form of political figure. Like, these news companies genuinely have no shame. And I knew that before, but this really only solidifies it, that they are taking this man on regularly. It's just weird. And honestly, I'm just disappointed. I really am. I sound like a disappointed, teacher or something. But yeah, that is the ending of this.
There's a good chance that this ruins the credibility, at least online, among people who know about shit like this. I mean, PewDiePie covered this person and made fun of them back in the day. I'm pretty certain this could potentially backfire on the right. You see, the right keeps on tying its neck around stones that are sinking, for lack of a better analogy, I guess. For example, Elon Musk. The right really stuck a lot of their reputation with Elon Musk. Him sort of like slowly degrading his own reputation is also hurting the right at the same time. The more Elon Musk becomes disliked, the less power the right has through Elon's bias in favor of them, right? Because people are going to care less about what Elon believes, what he thinks, and what political opinions he has. My first ever debate I ever did on this channel was with a Trump supporter who said that he supported Trump because Elon Musk voted for Trump, and Elon Musk is a genius, so obviously he must know the best political candidate to vote for. That was his reasoning, without not a shred of irony. It wasn't even like a meme to be an Elon dick rider at the time. Like, it wasn't a negative meme. There was nothing to be ashamed of. He had no reason to lie or troll or to be making a joke about it. He has outright said, no, Elon Musk is a genius. Obviously, I'm going to go with what he voted for. He knows better than me or anybody else. Why should I trust you? Elon Musk is smarter than you. He's a billionaire, right? Like, that's basically how these people think. And as Elon Musk tanks his reputation even further, the right isn't going to be able to use him anymore. Kanye West, they tied themselves to Kanye West pretty hard. Massive public figure, going right wing. They also like the fact that he's a black man. They were able to use that to get away from a lot of racism accusations. But now he's on Alex Jones saying he likes Hitler. That really is rough for the right, huh? They find a neo-Nazi that's a massive public figure who can spread their ideas, and it's like a massive win for them, and he's a black man, so they're like, okay, he probably won't go too far either, right? But then he just goes so more mask off than any Nazi figure with that level of a platform, or any platform has any time in recent history. I mean, like, Nick Fuentes hasn't gone as mask off as Kanye West did these last few days. The right must have felt so sure they had nothing to worry about with Kanye. Oh, we got nothing to worry about. He's not going to go on some crazy shit. Oh, okay. No. Oh. Fuck. I love this timeline a lot.
video, please like this video because there are going to be some nutters in this comment section. Please comment your thoughts and opinions down below, and most importantly, comment beans down below. And also, please subscribe. Subscribe is the most important thing. Well, it's not.
Guys,
subscribe.
guys, not a meme. Not a meme right now. I need you all to listen to me right now. This is not a meme. This is not a drill, even. You all very much need to go like and subscribe to Inabber's channel and to his content. Go send love and support right now. Go do it. Drop likes, subscribe, send support just in general, and say that I sent you or something. Just you know, or I don't know, just say love from Zand or something like that. But yeah, I really liked that video. I liked it a lot. I think Inabber did a really good job of breaking all of this down. I did still have a lot that I wanted to add to it, and there's a reason why I wanted to react to it on stream, so I'd be able to give my thoughts on everything. But overall, I think it was a pretty fantastic video, and I really hope Inabber gets more into doing political commentary in the future, because I'm 100% here for it. I love seeing non-political YouTubers, large audiences, just talk about political stuff, even if it's not like super duper the left-wing position. Just seeing it happen, seeing the stuff that I talk about for a living talked about by YouTubers that I watch and aren't in my space. It's just always, it's like unexpected crossover is the best way to say it. Anyway, go send support to Inabber. I mean, honestly, if you're watching me, then you're probably already subbed to Inabber. If you're not, then you really should be. Inabber is a massive YouTuber, nearly 1 million subs, makes fantastic content, and I would be surprised if you watch me and not him. So go subscribe, go send some love, go send some support. You know how the right is when it comes to mass disliking and hate bombing anything that calls them out or spreads the truth. So go help counteract that a little bit. With that said, if you enjoyed my content, you can also leave a like, subscribe, or ring the bell icon on my channel, turn on all notifications, and you can also follow my social media, linked all down below in the description, as well as supporting me financially through my website, xanderhall.com/live, or supporting me financially through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, or Patreon, or perhaps even going down to the description and buying some of my merch through Streamlabs. With all that said, thank you so much for watching, regardless of how you support me, and have a good one.